Hey everyone, Dr. Kelly Starrett from the Ready State. I want to talk today about my favorite thing going on right now, which is the Slingshot Infinity Loop. Now look, one of the things that you can appreciate with this thing is, of course, you can stretch your hamstrings and you can do pull-aparts and all the classic ways to get prepped. But one of the most underutilized tools or techniques with this incredible device is what I call the rotation primer, which is why I'm here talking about it today. So when we talk about shoulder function, most of the time we're looking at these big cardinal planes, flexion, extension, right? We're looking at, is the arm coming across the body or not? And when we're getting prepped in those things, we may even be working a little bit of rotation, but really what we're not looking at sometimes is really what's happening with the joint in pure rotation in some of these long lever positions, which means arm straight. And so when we see that sometimes we'll add a little bit of rotation, maybe out to the side, we're really missing my ability to prime the rotation. And when I say rotation, what I'm talking about is full range of motion. So it's not just enough that I put my arm over my head. I need to be able to have access to this rotation. The same way that if I'm benching, I'm starting here, but I'm really trying to cue to break the bar, spread the bar. So I can get a lot of priming in, but what we know is that if my rotation isn't dialed in, then one of the things that happens is that when my big movers go, rotation is lost, force is dumped, power is leaked, and that's not a good way to bench or to do whatever's important. So one of my favorite ways to restore position mechanics to the shoulder, to improve performance or biomotor output, or to get your shoulder back online after a shoulder tweak is what we call the rotation primer. Now, typically I've set this up with a little mini band in a rack and it works great, but it's not always portable, it's not always useful. So check this out. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take the Infinity Loop, put it on your hand, and then just wrap it from the outside. So I'm just flipping it over. And the idea here is, when I pull on this, it wants to dump my elbow out, like a bad bench where the elbow is flaring. So the thing is, the band is actually making it so that my elbow goes into this internally rotated position. What I'm gonna do is just sneak this around my back now. And then let me take one more loop here. And then I just sneak it around my back. And what you see here now is, again, if I do nothing, my brain wants to dump and let the arm internally rotate. So as I put a little resistance in here, what I'm gonna do now is work on creating this rotation out. So what I'm teaching my brain to do is say, hey, I've gotta be able to hold this isometric position in the start position of my bench. I can modulate tension with the other hand here just by wrapping around my body, and then I can work on priming this rotation. And what you'll see is that when I have athletes who are missing the ability to create clean rotation, we tend to see more dysfunction in the shoulder. That might be pain, that might be loss of performance, loss of range of motion. But as we get people turned back on, reconnected to their arm-shoulder relationship, we start to see improvement in power, connection, etc. Now what's nice is then I can suddenly take this, do the same thing overhead. If you're an overhead athlete, being able to have access to having this armpit come forward is a key aspect of being able to improve your overhead position and arrive with greater stability overhead position. I can do the same thing out here to the side, and what you'll suddenly see is that, you start adding rotation here and it gets costly. I'm already starting to burn. Now check this out. What's amazing about this as well is that I can also work on maintaining the isometric here. There's the isometric rotation, and then can I dissociate the arm? Can I make sure that I have good scapular motion in these positions while maintaining that rotation? Because as I try to block someone, let's say in football, I need to be able to create a stable position, thumb up, but still have access to being able to absorb force and modulate my position. Burning. Same thing up top. If I'm trying to absorb load, I need to have the ability to protract, retract, elevate, depress the scapula in this position while still maintaining rotation. What's so nice is that a few sets until you burn, switch sides, work on this rotation. When you get under the bar, when you grab a bar, when you're trying to create more stability off an object, you've just primed the system that is responsible for that stability, and that's rotation. This is why the Infinity Loop is my new favorite thing.